Before I do start this video, I do want to ask you guys one question. If Argentina were to play Spain in this upcoming World Cup, whether it's through a quarterfinal match or a group match or a semifinal match, who would you guys support? Like, really think about that, because I know that us as Barcelona fans, we have huge attachment over Messi. We have huge attachment towards the current Barcelona squad, and that current Barcelona squad has a lot of Spanish players like Yamal, Gavi, Pedri, Alejandro Balde, Cubarsí. And so let me know in the comment sections down below, because this was something that I have been thinking about over the past few days, ever since I saw Messi play his last game in Argentina. I was looking at the amount of love the fan base was showing to Messi and how big Messi has really became for the Argentinian national team. And can you imagine Messi having that chance to win a second World Cup? Would you like that? But the only way he could get through that second World Cup is by defeating the Spanish national team, right? Spain, a national team that has many Barcelona players. So once again, let me know in the comment sections down below. I'm not going to give you guys my answer because I feel like I'm going to piss off a lot of people here. But going back to the original conversation, let's talk about Gavi, because Gavi is not looking too good right now. It has been said, according to Javi Miguel, that Gavi's injury is worse than expected and he won't return until October, and his aim is to return for the match against PSG, which is exactly going to be on October 1st. And the reason why Gavi has been out for such a long time so far, and why he might be out for another 4 weeks, it is because of his right knee discomfort. It is the exact knee that went through an ACL injury. He did miss the last game against Rayo Vallecano. We all thought that at that time Gavi was only going to be out for maybe 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks at the very most, but it does seem like it's heading towards him being out for 6 total weeks. We'll talk about the bigger implications of this and what this means for the future of Barcelona's midfield, meaning there is another player that could take advantage of Gavi being out from the starting 11, because another CDM that is likely going to be out for the next couple of weeks is Frenkie de Jong. He has experienced a minor knock and he had to be out early in the match against Poland, meaning that when he does return to FC Barcelona, Hansi Flick is going to say, look, I know that you might be okay, I know that you went through a minor injury, but I'm not going to be taking no risk. There is no reason for us to continue to play you, and yes, even though you might have something small, just take a break and just make sure that you are 110% healthy again. Now, we have also heard that Lamine Yamal and Alejandro Balde went through small injuries as well, but it's not too serious. Expect Alejandro Balde to return just in time for the match against Valencia. And as for Yamal, I mean, he's currently playing in the match against Turkey. It does make me a little nervous, because if Yamal did pick up a minor knock in the previous game, what makes sense about having Yamal play in the next following match? But all in all, it does seem like Gavi and Frenkie de Jong are going to be the main ones to be out, meaning that when another player is there and he sees that a lot of his teammates are getting injured that play in the exact same position as him, that one player must take advantage of that and get as many minutes as possible, impress your coach as much as possible. Because look, we know that talent is essential to reach the top in professional football, but sometimes you can get success when you're at the right place and at the right time and really go for that moment. And the player that I have been foreshadowing, it is Marc Casado again, the 21-year-old central defensive midfielder. Once again, this is the second time. The last time Marc Casado really got a true opportunity was last season, between the months of August all the way until January. Frenkie de Jong came in later in that season, proving his worth, taking out Marc Casado, and we saw for the remainder of the season, the last 4 to 5 months, that Frenkie and Pedri were going to be the main double pivot. But with Frenkie and Gavi out now, that means that Casado is up next. It's not going to be Bernal, because Bernal is still coming from an ACL injury. So it's highly likely that when we do return, maybe for the next 2 or 3 matches, Casado will be starting next to Pedri with Olmo as the number 10. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I would honestly like to see Eric Garcia and Pedri in the double pivot positions with Casado as the number 10, because I don't know if you guys remember, but the last time Barcelona truly had a midfield masterclass, it was in the match against Real Madrid, where we have defeated Real Madrid. I believe it was 4-0 away from home, and that midfield contained Frenkie, Pedri, and Casado as a number 10. Hence the reason why I would like to see Casado as a 10, because Olmo has not really done so much for us, and so maybe Casado could be given another chance in that position, because he was amazing. The way that he was directing those forward passes, the way that he was always looking to progress the ball, Casado was really in his prime at that time. So I really do believe that Casado now has a chance to step into the midfield and really prove his value once more. There was a lot of uncertainty over his role at Barcelona, like in the last summer. Same thing could be said with the past summer that we have just gone through. So if he does perform well, Flick and the fans could really see him as a reliable option. But if he does fail to impress and he provides very minimal support, I don't know, maybe that could move Casado to a different position in the squad, and maybe the supporting department might look at Casado differently and maybe see him much more of a financial move to gain profits instead of just retaining the player. Now let's talk about another player that is not a Barcelona player, but we are going to be seeing that player's team very, very soon, and that is about Dembele, who is going to be out for the next 6 weeks. So this is going to be a rival watch conversation. Yes, Barcelona do play PSG on October 1st. Dembele most likely will not be there, and that's because Dembele has gone through through a very serious injury. And I can already see it from a mile away. I know that when Barcelona, if they do defeat PSG on that night, the only thing the PSG fans are going to be saying for the next 48 to 72 hours is, oh yeah, PSG lost because they didn't have Dembele, so Barcelona got it passed. I can already see that from a mile away, but it is what it is. I think that a PSG without Dembele is, yes, very different, but also still very impactful. And we have seen that through Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique is one hell of a coach, and he knows how to adapt to different situations. Dembele also had a few things to say that I do want to touch on, and this is what he said. After the injuries, I realized you have to train, eat right, and sleep well. Talent isn't enough anymore. High-level football is demanding. You can't just wake up and start playing. And this is something that has really resonated with me, because when he said that talent is not enough, that you need to train, eat right, sleep well, all of that very much is important, because I am somebody who really also likes to train, right? I love to go out there and play my sports. I do Muay Thai, I do boxing, I lift weights. I really do like to train hard. But one of the things that ends up becoming very important as you do age, because you do see this as you get older and older, right? Because I'm 27 years old right now. I would not say that I'm old, but I'm old enough to understand why eating right, sleeping well, and training well is important, because if you don't sleep well, you're going to end up being so groggy through the day. You're not going to be able to perform in the way that you want to. Your body's not going to want to really do those exercises with a lot of enthusiasm. It's going to be a very tired body. If you don't eat right, for example, right? Like if you eat cheeseburgers or pizza, something that Dembele has also talked about, you're going to be gassed out so early through the training sessions. Or if you have to run or sprint, it really does show. And if you don't train correctly and you just go in there and you're like half-ass all of the exercises, you're not going to be getting so much from those exercises. Like all of this is very important. Yes, you can get away with this and not do any of these things when you're like 19, 20 years old. But the moment you really do hit 26, 27, 28, 29, and then 30 plus, all of this is very much important. And the reason why I'm putting myself as an example, and I'm also bringing up this quote from Dembele, is because I want all of the La Masia players and all of our youngsters at Barcelona to realize this. I want them to know that even though they're young, they may feel like they can tackle the whole world, and I understand that. They really do have that feeling. But eventually, you are going to get injured. As a matter of fact, the fact that you're so young, let's just say, for example, Dro or Kubarsi or Lamine Yamal, because they're so young, right? Because they're so young, they don't know their bodies yet. They don't know what they could handle. They don't know their reaction towards a certain type of intensity through the game. What happens to their hamstring? What happens to their quads? How do you know you're about to experience a spasm? How do you get away from spasms? How do you reduce the chances of getting a spasm on your calf? All of this does go down to sleeping well, eating right, knowing your body, knowing your capabilities. This is the reason why players like Ansu Fati got injured all the time, why Pedri got injured all the time earlier in his career, why Gavi is currently getting injured right now. Even with Alejandro Balde, he continues to have this left hamstring injury. It's because they're so young. It is because they don't know their bodies yet and they need more time to recover. They need to modify something. How do you eat differently? How do you sleep differently? Do you need to sleep more? What type of stretches and training do you do? I'm telling you, the more you do study this and the more you do study your body, you're going to end up seeing massive results. Look at Lewandowski. He's playing longer than any other striker that we have seen before because he takes care of his body. He's a player who goes to the gym. He looks like he's 20, acts like he's 20. He moves like he's 20. And you look at Ronaldo as well. Ronaldo's playing in his 40s because he understands his body. He knows what he needs to do. He needs to sleep 9 hours a day, eat 5 steaks and 3 black coffees, train in the gym, gain more muscle in your legs. Same thing with Messi. Why isn't Messi tired yet? Why isn't Messi fat yet? Why isn't Messi getting injured as much as he used to? That is because Messi knows his body. He knows what he needs to do to recover. So with these players like Dro, Balde, Gavi, Yamal, Kubarsi, all of these youngsters, right? The fact that they have all of this technology and opportunity now, might as well do what Lewandowski and Messi and Ronaldo have been doing over the past 5 to 6 years. Minimize those injuries today and make sure that you don't go through 3 to 4 different injuries per season like Dembele did at Barcelona. So when I hear Dembele speaking about this, I hear about a player that is speaking through experience, that is speaking through going through a lot of adversity earlier in his career, and he wants to signal this type of message to many of the youngsters today. And so it does work, bro. Like, it really does. Me at the age of 27 years old, I really, and for sure, I promise you guys, I feel like I'm only 16 or 17 years old. I can move better than most of the 27-year-olds or 28-year-olds that I know today. But that is it, right? That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.